All right, in this video, we're gonna go over some options off of the bear trap. So we're not gonna go over every entry possible. Just gonna start with the one that I like a lot, which is essentially from an X guard. So we can have a overhook or an underhook on this leg right here. It doesn't really matter. I'll just have an overhook. And so maybe we're starting in a standard X guard. We're gonna switch to a low reverse X guard. So I'm gonna take my foot, it's at the hip, so I come underneath and go to her foot. So you got foot to foot and foot to knee. What I want to do is bring her down, so I do that by kicking my legs opposite directions. So I try to bring her down to her knee. So I kick the foot, kick the knee, give a little extension here, and bring him down. So the hands touch the mat. What that's going to allow me to do now is start picking up this back leg with my hook here. And what I want is to extend my leg so her foot kind of glides down my thigh. I can even reach and grab her heel to speed that process up. See, it slides down and it catches over here at my hip. We lock a triangle. Now the primary attack is the bear trap slicer. So what I'm gonna do is scoop underneath her leg, reach around the hip, hold my knees over my head. I'm gonna pull like I'm pulling deep half guard. Pull her all the way on top of me, hug around the hip. Our hand goes inside our knee, not outside, so I don't collapse my own knee in. So we go inside our knee, hug the hip. I'm gonna pull her on top of me and extend my shin bone through the knee here. And there's our first slicer. Now what happens very commonly when we enter the bear trap is people fall to their knee. Right, they're well aware of that first slicer. When they fall this way, I'm probably not gonna pick her back up. So what I can do here is I'm gonna take this leg, bring it over my head, and what I wanna do is trap it here. Okay, and it's gonna buy me a couple seconds to very quickly sit up and reach for her far hip, like this. Now, I want to climb up over her. It's very similar to finishing an omoplata, right? So a lot of people think finishing the slicer here is just squeeze your partner on top of you as hard as you can. That's really not the slicer. The slicer is when I carry myself over her, I'm bringing her heel up and over her with me. So sometimes running in this thigh, we kind of get stuck. So I do a little shrimp, get a little bit more behind her. What I'm gonna do is just push off the mat with my foot. You can even reach up to, like if I was in the gi, I'd be grabbing the gi here, the shoulders, the hip. But I want to start picking myself up over her like this. If she for some reason sits up tall, then you can pull them on top of you like that. But if she's leaning forward, we're probably not about to just pull them on top of us here. So we have to pick ourselves up. Now at this step right here, very commonly your opponent's going to start turning towards you because she knows that if I get to her back, I'm going to either take her back, hit a slicer, nothing good comes out of that. So a lot of people turn and face you. And I think this is actually what you should be probably trying to do on top. Is if I'm a little slow and sloppy here, she can sit through, catch this underhook, and I get my guard pass. So that is a potential way out for her. So what I'm gonna do immediately is I'm gonna pull this heel to the knee, so I get up on my elbow, and I give a little shrimp and a pull. Right? So I wanna open up as much space here as possible. I'm gonna kick so her foot falls off. So I've actually lost my bear trap. Very quickly, I'm gonna start rolling to the inside here, passing my leg over the top. So as I start rolling to the inside here, my leg is gonna come over the top and hook the back of her thigh. Okay, make sure we're above their knee here. My knee is up by her hip. We've essentially just entered the saddle position now. If she does the common beginner mistake of flexing her foot, like I'm trying to ankle lock her, we can just slide down to the heel and catch a heel hook right here. Someone a bit better is going to turn, and then we're going to lose it if I stay here. So when this begins happening, I'm going to tuck my head between her legs, reach this top hand for that far lat, and pull my heels to my butt. What it should do is roll her over me. I want to sit her back to her hip. So I pull myself in, reach for that far lat, curl my heels to sit her down, and then we'll either float down, catch the heel here, or immediately look for that second leg to prevent their turns. So we'll do one more time, go from the other side. So we're starting maybe like an X guard, go to a reverse X, kick, kick, bring him down, collect that leg. So this is the bear trap right here. Right, so the first attack is just the classic slicer here, right? Scoop him like we're pulling deep half, hug the hip as hard as you can. Nice and tight triangle. Don't try to one-leg it. That's how you hurt your knee. Always reinforce your slicing leg. And we extend as we squeeze, right? You'll see some people go for this first slicer with like body locks and head arm. And that sometimes works, but what you're gonna find when you practice this, it's much tighter if I'm able to hug the hip of the leg I'm slicing, right? So again, because of that, when we get here, a lot of people, they just fall away from you. So this is my cue to immediately just pass this leg over and start chasing this back slicer here. If I'm running in the thigh, it's kind of hard to get up. Just move yourself a little bit more directly behind them and pick yourself up. And again, what I expect a lot of people do, turn and face me. So we shrimp, extend. It helps sometimes when you pass this leg over to put these toes in the mat so I can lift myself up and throw my foot over, right? Make sure your foot doesn't go across like this. That's you get caught with those counter heel hooks and things. So you always want to tuck it behind that far hamstring here. If she, for some reason, does the boot defense, like a lot of beginners do here, you can oftentimes just slide down and get your tap right there. What I expect someone who knows what they're doing is she's gonna start turning, right? So there's no heel hook. Top of her foot's on the ground, so I have to reach, pull myself under, and you curl the heels, and that's what sits them down. Then usually we'll either immediately go lace up that second leg, or if their knee is pointing towards us enough when we land, we've got already this overhook control, a lot of times we just slide right in, and then we get our tap right here.